Good morning, everybody. So we made it to Green Turtle Bay. It's the morning. We got a good night's sleep. It's about 11 o'clock. I slept in because we didn't get here till like 2 o'clock. This is the showers they have. Pretty fancy. So I'm going to get a shower in, and then we're going to head on over to the boat and start doing our repair work. That's the plan. Alright everybody, we're all checked in. They gave us a cool packet of everything and some coupons. They have a courtesy car. We reserved it for 4 o'clock. And then we'll be able to run to the store. It looks like our package from Catalina Direct won't be here till tomorrow. So we'll kind of have to wait to start doing our rudder repairs till then. But I'll start working on stuff, getting it organized, get the back rudder off here, and start taking apart the pedestal. I'm a little nervous about taking the pedestal, throttle, and gear shifter, and I don't want to break those because those work wonderfully, and then you just use the tiller. But it would be amazing to get the wheel all hooked up again. So that's the plan today. Boat work. All right, we are back down at the boat and starting to do some boat pop top up so we can have a little more headroom and just chill. I was reading online that once you get out in the Gulf, the Coast Guard will check and you have to have a mechanical compass if they do check at your helm. So I'm going to add my little Ricci compass right here. I had planned this out before leaving the trip, so I'd already had it. And then, as you can, I had planned this all out before I left on the trip. I just didn't get to put it in yet. So as you can see, it'll fit below the chart plotter, and then the Navonics that goes up here. So you'll have Navonics, Humminbird, compass. So it's a good helm. So I'm gonna get the holes screwed in the plexiglass that I have up here, and then we'll get that mounted. Then we're gonna remove the rudder, and then we'll start figuring out what we're gonna do, how to get the old mounts off. The bottom one should be really easy. All we have to do is loosen the bolts and it'll come off. But the top one, that one is still 3M'd on as well as the bolts, so hopefully it'll just pull right off and it'll be easy. And then we'll open this up and then get inside and we'll get to the cable. So that's the plan. All right everybody, so I was doing that with the drill. I had to charge the battery and ended up getting sidetracked. So I got everything out of up front. I have a laundry pile there so we can do our laundry. I got all the tools organized better. So we have like electrical stuff, plumbing stuff, hardware like stainless steel nuts and bolts, and like mounting brackets and stuff. And then the bottom one is more like 120 electrical stuff, like Wago wire nuts and all that. Then we have one of like sockets and wrenches. We got one of Allen keys and stuff. This one's just random. And then over here we got more sockets and wrenches. These are our zincs for the sail drive. That one's the one that goes on the the lower unit that goes outside, and then that one actually goes into the water pump. I'm going to end up replacing this one probably when we get down to Mobile, Alabama, and that one as well. I can probably dive in the water by that time. We're not in the Mississippi River anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. And then this one's like screwdrivers and stuff and a bunch of extra clevis pins. And yeah, we're just getting everything kind of organized, cleaned up. We got food there, and then down here we have a bunch of food, like cereal and chips and stuff. That's our 120 volt heater that I brought with just in case we can plug in, and if we're at a marina. But when it's been cold, we've never been at a marina that would be able to use it. one thing I did the other day, and I forgot to kind of show you guys because I did it when we were at Paducah there. I drilled a 2-inch hole in the outside of the boat, and they used to have the thing for the 30 amps, but I only have a 120 extension cord width, so I ended up getting that. And what it is it goes through the boat, and I'll show you the outside later. It's got a 120 plug-in, and then on the inside there are 2 cords that you can plug in. I'm going to use one for a plug-in, and then I have like a power strip that's a marine power strip that's AFGIC or AFCI arc fault interrupt, and then a GFCI, which is ground fault, and so it'll be safe. And then the other cord, I'm going to cut the end off is the plan, and I'm going to run it behind the panel down, and then down here, and I'll set up a little box with a 15 amp 120 breaker, and then I'm going to run, the plan is to run a 120 cord through here, over and up, because over here we actually have a 120 plug-in that the previous owner had done that. He had wired his 30 amp hookup down to a 15 amp breaker, and then over here and behind the control panel he had a 120 volt plug-in. And when I do I'm not sure if I'll do one back here and one over there, or if I'll just do the one over here. And when I set that up, I will use a GFCI outlet as well, just to make sure everything's real safe. Those will be the future plans for marine shore power. So I never really had kind of planned shore power because I've always used the solar panel, and we've never really ran that I didn't have enough power. So it was never really a thought. But if we're going to run that heater, that'll take one down south. It might be hot, and then fan. Somebody was saying you can get a little air conditioner and then plug it in. I don't need any of that, but things to think about in the future. And it's just nice, that ability to have 120 volt power on your boat. So that's the plan. Things are kind of coming together. I just have to wait for this battery to get charged. It takes about a half hour or so, and I forgot to plug it in once I came in because I was looking for the drill. When I was looking for the drill, I was up front up there, and then I was like, I better start organizing all this, especially because I got to work on stuff. And literally, when I was going the other day and then found out that the rear gudgeon was not watertight, I was going, and then I kind of just went and looked down there, and in my head I'm like, oh, it's still watertight. We did that 3M around it. It was not. So what I ended up doing was just flipping this cushion up and grabbed everything I could out of there that was heavy and threw it up in the front as quick as I could, because we were just going through the beginning of the Ohio River there, and there were all those barges, so I didn't really have time to come down, or we didn't have anywhere to really anchor and deal with it. So I just had to quick do that, and a bunch of the tools fell out of the things. I wish I would have kind of got more of these, the ones that lock, and then they're a little bit, keeps it better organized than these ones, because these ones, they pop off real easy. Those ones were like 10 for $5 at Walmart, where these ones were like $10 a piece. And I think that's why I didn't get it, but I shouldn't have skimped on the containers, because it makes a big difference when you're going through stuff or moving them if these keep the top on, whereas these, it's not a heavy one, but if you have a heavy one, it will just pop right off when you're moving it. So progress is being made. Alright everybody, happy dance. The mail came from Catalina Direct here. we have our new rudder gungans. Happy dance. So I ordered new pintles. I don't know if we're gonna need them or not, we'll see. And then these are actually a little treat to myself. Some new Genoa car blocks. And then here are the new heavy duty gungans. The original gungans on a Catalina 25 didn't have this part here, that extra welded thing, and it was just a 90-degree bracket, and it didn't have the heavy duty rubber bushing. So happy dance, we got our new ones. And 2 of them. And then I also got 2 extra bushings for the future. And there should be another pin. Oh no, I only got the 1 pintle. This is an extra long pintle compared to the normal one, and I'm going to put that onto the bottom gungin so that when it's in there, if it ever does like it did last time and the cotter pin shears, the bottom one won't pop off first. So happy dance, happy dance. So now we have to get that off. Then we have to remove the old gungins and then remount the new ones with some 3M. We'll probably do that tomorrow. Back to this. So the drill should be charged. I let it charge while I ran up to get the mail. So we should just have to drill the 2 holes and put in the screws, and then we will have our compass. So that'll be pretty cool. Good morning, everybody out there in YouTube land. So we didn't get everything we wanted to get done yesterday. It ended up getting dark, and I didn't want to bug any of the other people around in the marina. So I figured we'd get a good early day today once the sun came up, and we'll get back to it. So I'm going to get dressed and get back in the cabin, and I'll be back. All right, time to get working on the rudder. So I'm removing the paracord and the seizing wire, and then we'll pull this up and out, and we'll remount the rudder brackets is the plan. All right, we got the rudder up and off. So next to get it remounted and the gungins redone. That one ain't supposed to look like that. Alright, so we almost have the top one removed. I'm gonna get the new one on shortly. Alright, we got the old one removed. And there it is. As you can see, it's not supposed to look like that. This is the top one. And when the bottom pintle comes out and it floats the rudder up, that's when it bent it. So this is what it looks like with the hard rubber bushing and straight. So we're gonna get this mounted back to the boat, and then I'll be back. All right, now we're gonna remove the lower gungin here. Crawl back here. I'm gonna get rid of all that toilet seal wax first, and then I'll get the bolts out, and then we'll redo the lower gungin. That last time I was just kind of like in the moment and doing everything, and I forgot to film it. But what I had to do before was those nuts. I had stripped up the old bolts about a 1/2 of an inch, and I had to cut them off and then put these new ones in. These new ones, since we barely used them, I'm sure they're still good, so I should just have to remove them. And we know the lower gungin isn't waterproof, so pull it off, put on a new one, re-3M 4200 it, tighten the bolts, and in 2 days we should be good. And then next, after that, we have to work on the steering cable, which is this blue one that comes down from the pedestal. Comes down and then shoots over through the board there. Oh, it's hard to fit here. But that's where it goes over and then out to the transom on the other side. So I'm gonna get all this wax cleaned up and get this mount out, or these screws, bolts, and nuts out, and we'll get the newer mount in. So that's the plan. All right, everybody. So we got the bolts all loosened up. So then next, all you have to do is reach down and grab it. I'm gonna have to do this with holding the phone. It's a little trickier than when I did it last time, so I'm not gonna hold the phone and drop it, but I'm gonna grab it and pull it off. Then we'll get the new ones on. All right, so I got the bottom one pulled out. That one actually doesn't look too bent at all. Just the thing popped out, but we're still gonna put on 2 new ones, and I'll save this as an extra. So that's what it looks like. Getting to be an expert at changing these while in the water still. When you have the swing keel down, it actually puts weight in the front of the boat pretty well, and then the weight I have, and then when you're not going with the motor, so it doesn't push the rear of the boat down, you have plenty of room. Part of there, we had the current and it was kind of pushing it down, so when I had to put all the weight in the front of the boat, it didn't stick. It was a little closer to the water line, but yeah, be experts at doing it in the water. So I'm gonna get some 3M 4200, and then I'm gonna get some new bolts and nuts. I think I can still use these nuts and bolts. Like, they were literally only on a few days. And then I'll 3M the crap out of the back of it, and then we'll get them mounted on, and we'll have our new mounts for the rudder. And no matter what, we're good then, because we can always do the trip with the tiller. And then next we'll be trying to get the steering cable figured out. And then I installed our PA horn up on the front pulpit. It works with our radio, and then it'll do alarm if you're anchored or sailing or under motor. It does a PA, so if I wanted to talk through the radio out of there, it would come out, so I could talk to a boat that's a little farther away. You know, if you have to yell to somebody and they can't hear you, you could just remote helm back here and go, hey, be able to hear you. So I'm gonna get the 3M out, and I'll get these back on and tightened in, and then we'll be back. Alright, I thought I'd give you guys a shot of what it looks like there with them off. So, next, to get the 3M 4200, I'm going to clean up that bottom one a little more, and then we'll get the mounts on. Alright, everybody, we got the new rudder gungans on. No play now, nice and smooth. So I'm going to take the rudder back up. I put it down to make sure they lined up, and then we'll let that 3M dry, and we'll figure out the steering cable is our next goal here. But I'm gonna go take a shower first because I have 3M all over me, and then we'll get to trying to figure out the steering cable. If we can't figure it out, we know we're good. The lower gunged mount should be nice and sealed now. We have our tiller, and there's nothing that can stop us from continuing on now if we have to just go with the tiller. But I'm definitely going to try to get the steering cable figured out. So that'll be our next goal. I'm going to go take my shower, and then I'll come back in a few hours here after I take a little break, and we'll start working on this. Alright, good morning, everybody. I'm guessing everybody out there in YouTube land's wondering what I'm doing. So I think I'll make this the end of part 1 of hanging out at Green Turtle Bay and making repairs. And then I'll start a part 2 after that, and we'll get up and start taking apart the pedestal, and I'll show you guys that process. So, in the comments below, let me know if you guys have any questions on anything you've seen in this part of the video. And stay tuned. We'll get to the good part now, because we're taking apart the pedestal to try to repair the steering cable.